And right now we're getting into what I call high performance nutrition, how to select the most powerful supplements for you. Boy, is there a topic that I love, and that's about high performance nutrition, And I've been blessed over the years to work with some really, really extraordinary athletes in a lot of different areas, and I've been really blessed with that. And what I can say is at the highest levels of performance, that is the difference. Nutrition. And the nutrition that you select is really key. Now, what's interesting is over the course of this program, you're already kind of moving into that optimal zone. But now that we're, on the second half of the course, this is when we start switching into high gear. This is when, as the body's optimizers start to take hold, that you start reaching for that next level, and you're going to start being able to push yourself to another level. And so with that, your fuel has to go up there. So if you remember on our chart, we had the 3 stages. We have assimilation, right? That's the first stage. Then we have the nutrification. Okay? So, and then we have optimization. Okay? These are the 3 stages that you go through this process with. You start off and you're taking your enzymes and your probiotics, and you're getting hydrated, so you're getting better at assimilating nutrients. And then you're also doing the shakes, the salads, the smoothie, those things. Remember the 12 habits? They're on the website on this course, so check those, that you're incorporating those. This is where you start to load up the system, and remember, filling up that bucket, right? Here's our little bucket that we talked about earlier. That's your burn rate, right? So now, in the optimal zone, this is where we start increasing lifestyle. Now, if you haven't watched the earlier lessons on this, go back and check them out, right? That's our bucket theory over here. Okay, so these lessons build on top of each other. Now, when we're talking optimization, okay, the foundation right here on our chart is enzymes and probiotics. And I go back to this over and over again, and I'll tell you why. These 2 guys are the workers. Everything else doesn't do work. They might cause their fuel or their building materials, but ultimately these are your body's workforce. The most important thing is, if you're building a house, let's say you're going to go build a house, and we drive out to the work set, and we've got all the materials, we got the boards, we got the cement, we got the windows, the piping, the roofing, all that sort of stuff, and you just leave it there. What's going to happen? Is your house going to get built? Of course it's not, because you come back a couple weeks later and all the stuff is still there. What do you need? You need workers, and enzymes are your metabolic workforce. Probiotics are key component to assimilation of everything that you do. So if you're going to put focus on anything, it's these 2 things. Be sure to check out, the enzyme factor by Dr. Shinya, enzyme nutrition by Dr. Hell, food enzymes for health and longevity by Howell. Those are great ones. You want to look at the microbe factor by Dr. Shinya, the #1 colon therapist in the world, right? He developed the Shinya technique for removing polyps. This is the difference between being okay and optimized. It really is. Now, on top of that, we're looking at protein, right? We're looking at minerals. We're looking at vitamins. And then we've got EFAs. Okay, and this is essential amino acids. We'll just go EAAs like that. This is terrible writing, so I hope you can read this. If you can't, you're going to have to watch this a few times. Sorry about that, or go to our website. I'll answer the questions. Right, this is really the chain, because remember, we need enzymes, and probiotics are just kind of like high-level, sophisticated bags of enzymes. We need this to get our protein. We need protein to get our minerals. We need minerals to get our vitamins. Okay, that's the chain. EFAs this is really important on the hormonal side of things. Oops, let me just change that. Hormones. Okay, a lot of regulation inside the body. This is an area, we're going to talk about this more, but is an area that I struggle with. For some reason, I did low-fat diets when I was younger and kind of worked that into my brain. So for me, I always have to really concentrate on that one. And then what we go on beyond this is what I call the specialty supplements. And this is herbs, right? Also cleansers. Okay, and then finally sport specific. Or it could be performance based. I'll use performance based because performance could be different things. So for example, you could take certain mushrooms that are really good for mental focus. Okay? You might take certain herbs that are good for cleansing the colon or for detoxifying. Maybe you have, you discover through one of your tests that you have like parasites. So there are specific herbs that you could take to, say, eliminate parasites, right? Or you might take specific herbs to get rid of fungus out of the body. The fungus is a big problem for a lot of people, and you can remove that with an herbal cleansing thing. Maybe you have trouble, you've got a lot of buildup of mucoid plaque, so you want to use a cleaner, right? So this will, help clean out the body in a natural, healthy format. So that's what you use those for. Now, when you go to performance-based and sports-specific, this is where you're getting into kind of like, I guess it started out, you heard of apricot kernels for increased oxygenation. You things like ginseng, which is an adaptogenic herb, which allows you to like have longer levels of endurance if you're, training at a high level, or if you're dealing with high stress, situations for a long period of time, overcoming various illnesses or surgeries. There's certain things that will accentuate that. Arnica, that's another good one. Arnica, if you've got any injury or inflammation, then you can get into the anti-inflammatories. Anti-inflammatory herbs. In my opinion, number one on this list is turmeric. I think turmeric, it's so interesting. Turmeric is probably the most well-researched herb throughout history. Very, very popular in India. And through the Asian culture, a really, really good turmeric product. They vary from like super cheap to like mega high end. Same thing as ginseng. You can get really, really inexpensive ginseng. You can get ginseng that is super high, depending on the quality, potency, these type of things. Mushrooms. A lot of going into medicinal mushrooms these days. I like to use mushrooms. I just got into them really a few years ago. Mushrooms are pretty interesting. I mean, it's just the way they interact with the human body. That's a whole field in itself. But you start to see, now also some people say, well, what about creatines and what about the glutamines and what about those things like sport-specific herbs, those type of things? Pine pollen. That's another popular one for males, right? Pine pollen is a great product, for testosterone and virility. That's a great one. So what you start to see here is if you have your base figured out, this thing, you've got your enzymes and probiotics, your workforce. You increase that, oftentimes you're going to be able to extract more value out of what you're taking. But it doesn't make sense, in my opinion. It doesn't make sense to, be going to these sport-specific products if you don't have these things figured out. Doesn't make any sense, because what happens, you're only going to get a fraction of the value. If you've got this solid, if you've got this whole area solid and you've got a solid diet, then you're going to get, 2 to 5x more results from these type of products if you've got this going on. And also keep in reminder that hydration is key to this whole thing working. Enzymes work better in a hydrated environment. Protein, you need hydration to break down your protein. Probiotics, you need liquid in order to keep your body intestinal flora in great shape. Minerals absorb better in water. Vitamins, EFA, all this stuff requires water. So don't avoid those things. We had the pyramid of awesome, air, water, exercise, sunlight, optimizers, mental beliefs, attitudes, education, testing, coaching. And some people are like, well, this stuff doesn't work. Well, the reality is there are literally millions of people around in the world that will share with you their personal stories. Keep in mind with this stuff, not everything works for everybody, but this stuff is foundational optimization. And what you want to do is you want to learn what I call tweakology. Matt and Dave and myself always talk about this. We talk about tweakology. I think it was actually coined from one of my old coaches, Scott Abel. And this is about when you get to that, that 90% level. So let me go here. Here's your life. So when you start out on this bio-optimizing program, here's your capacity. So here is 0. This is death. Here is like 100%. This is you at full power. Most people are running somewhere around here. They're running at about 30%. I'm not kidding you. They're really living life at a very, very low level, and they think that that's normal. It's just so commonplace. You start incorporating just a few of these things, and you're going to start going up this level 50, then you're going to be 60, then you're going to get up here into when you get up around here, around 80%. I mean, this is where you want to be. You want to be at least an 8 out of 10. You follow this program for 84 days, you follow this for the entire student, you're going to hit this zone. You follow everything on this step, you are going to go from 30 to 80. That's like 2.5 times, almost 3 times better than you are now. And what that sets you up from a longevity standpoint, we'll talk about that later, is huge because, time's running out. I mean, we all have a limited time on the planet. Why not live at the highest level of expression? But after 80%, this is where what I would say this zone exists. Up in here. Up in here. That's going to make the difference. Most often, I can load up on more enzymes or tweak my minerals and vitamins or change my protein intake or change my fat intake, those foundational things, and I'll really get quite a wide variance here. And that's usually based on whatever sport or your performance-based or your own genetics and biology. That's where the individualized testing comes in to really find out what's optimal for you and your genetics and your lifestyle. That's the sweet spot. And ideally, at the highest levels, like the people that we deal with in, the personal coaching and those things that are in our coaching calls, you can ask about those. This is the 95% and above zone. Now, if you're looking at an Olympic athlete, they're going to be 98% and above, right? This is high-level performance. This is excellent. This is superstar. This is, elite athlete. And this is the super athlete. This is the Olympic athlete. So I hope that gives you a little clue about where you're going on this chart, what you need to go back with your foundation, okay? Just remember the fundamentals, the fundamentals, the fundamentals. All of the top coaches in the world preach the fundamentals. And go back and review these videos. Go back to the air, water, exercise, sunlight, optimizers, mental beliefs, and attitudes. And make sure you're getting enough workers inside your system, high-quality amino acids, the vitamins and minerals and drop fulvic acid delivery systems, the essential fatty acids, and then all the cleansers and specialty products. After that, these will work so much better when you got the base of the pyramid. So hope you understand that one. Hope you got answers. I know you've got questions, so go to Bioptimizers website. We'll see you over there. We'll do our best to answer all your questions and, share your stories and how it's working for you. So I look forward to seeing you on the next lesson.